Good morning. Happy New Year's Eve, and thanks for joining us on Sunrise. I'm Emily Scarlett. Cami Raisler has the week off.
And I'm Leland Pender. First this morning, let's get that New Year's Eve forecast. Kevin Arnone's in for Tim Miller. And Kevin, it's going to be pretty chilly out there welcoming in 2020 today.
Yeah, certainly much colder than what we had yesterday.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us on this New Year's Eve. I'm Emily Scarlett. Cami Raisler has the week off.
And I'm Leland Pender. First this morning, let's get you up and out the door with that forecast on this New Year's Eve, Kevin, not Christmas. As I previously stated, that's already happened. How's it looking? Pretty chilly out there.
You know, as we go through the day today, Leland, looking pretty good. And tonight, we will see those temperatures in the 40s as we ring in the new year.
In our crime alert now, Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook has announced a massive spike in homicides for 2019. Holbrook says there have been a total of 25 homicides, a 67% increase this year compared to last. Two 14-year-olds have been charged with murder in connection with the deadly shooting of a cab driver earlier this month. 5 of the department's homicide cases remain unsolved, and that's largely due to community members not cooperating with police, according to officials. One example, police say there were a few hundred people at the scene of the December 21st shooting on Norman Street, said to be gang-related.
The key piece to this is us staying our course, but we've got to have the community engagement that not just to provide information, but to say they're fed up with this. And it's just not acceptable. And we need some pushback from the community to these prolific trigger pullers that they're not welcome in Columbia.
Many of these deadly shootings are happening in an area of North Columbia, the same general area where the shot spotter technology is located. Holbrook says the number of alerts is beginning to decrease, but police are finding the number of rounds being fired at each incident is going up.
With the new year comes some changes, and that's going to be the case in Camden as single-use plastic bags will be eliminated there in 2020. Starting on the 1st, all businesses in Camden will not be allowed to give customers single-use plastic bags at checkout. This is a change that's been in the works for months now, with the first reading being approved back in July. Community leaders believe getting rid of these bags will help protect the environment.
The efforts to ban plastic bags to protect the environment is growing around our state. Already, many coastal areas have a similar ban in place. Closer to home, Arcadia Lakes in Richland County enacted its own plastic bag ban earlier this year, passing their ordinance in February. Retailers in that area have until March of next year to be in compliance. The ban targets grocery bags, plastic takeout bags, as well as styrofoam cups and containers. In the season of giving, many of you might be looking to write a check to a nonprofit of your choice, and there are thousands of charities registered in South Carolina needing your help. According to the South Carolina Secretary of State, South Carolinians are some of the most charitable people in the nation, but he emphasizes that you need to research a charity before you write that check. There are ones that set aside a very low percentage of your donation towards its charitable purpose. There are also hundreds of charities still on the suspended list.
Many of those organizations we found that were soliciting and they were not registered. And by law, to solicit in the state of South Carolina, you have to register your charitable organization. And that's how we're able to gather the information that we share with charitable donors.
Now, in order to become a nonprofit, people have to register as a charitable organization with the Secretary of State. They also have to send in financial reports every year so that the state can keep tabs on how donor money is spent. If the charity does not comply, the Secretary of State's office sends a notice. After 15 days, if that charity still does not file, they're issued a fine. That fine is $10 per day until it maxes out at $2,000. Once a charity gets to that point, they're placed on the suspended list. That list is published online to the public.
Right now, officials have already shut down Gervais Street at Main Street in Columbia as they get ready for tonight's festivities to ring in the new year. The 1200 block of Gervais between Assembly and Sumter is also closed as festivities preparations are underway as well. Officials say more street closings will happen today ahead of the event. Of course, hundreds, maybe even thousands are expected to pack that area tonight for the famously hot New Year's Eve celebration. Gates open at 6:30 and a legendary hip-hop group, Salt and Peppa, will headline the free outdoor concert before a countdown and fireworks at midnight. And if you're planning to go to that event, there are changes you need to know about for this year. A mandatory clear bag policy is now in place. You are looking at here what is and is not allowed. Officials say this policy is now in place to provide a safer environment for everyone who attends. Any bag that is larger than the permitted size will not be allowed in. And beginning at 5 o'clock today, the gates will be raised at gated city parking garages in Columbia as officials offer complimentary parking through 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. In addition, on the 1st, meters in Columbia will not be enforced. And if you were planning to head to Atlanta for New Year's Eve, it will not be the same this year.
No, it won't. There won't be a big peach dropping at the stroke of midnight. The 800-pound peach has been a part of New Year's Eve festivities in Atlanta for 30 years. Officials call it an iconic symbol with a great history. Although the peach will not make its way to the ground with a countdown, it will be at the Fulton County Government Center atrium for at least part of the tradition.
Pretty straightforward. The peach is here. There is no drop, but it's here, and the public is invited to come in, take photos. As I said, make your New Year's resolution. It'll be here through the end of January, I believe, on display here.
The peach drop was canceled because of difficulty finding a place to hold the drop. The city no longer owns Underground Atlanta, where the drop had been held in previous years. Officials promised, though, that there will be a peach drop somewhere next New Year's Eve.
All right, temperatures outside right now are in the 30s and 40s, but as we go through your day today, we steadily warm up. Noontime in the mid-50s, this afternoon upper 50s to near 60 degrees, comes with plenty of sunshine this afternoon. We are looking good, and your New Year's Eve plans this evening are looking good as well, but we do have some heavy rain on the way. That is for Friday. An alert day has been issued. We're going to time it all out with the Futurecast.
Hey, thanks so much, Kevin. We continue to count down to 2020 this morning.
And preparations are already underway as New York City is getting ready to party like it's 2020. Oh, lots of celebrating happening today. We're, of course, just hours away from the start of the new year. And once again, thousands of people will pack Times Square in New York City to watch that traditional Waterford crystal ball drop, counting down the final moments of 2019, Leland.
Yes, always so spectacular to witness that moment in New York City. Of course, it's one of the most iconic New Year's Eve celebrations in the entire world. NBC's Chris Pallone is already in Times Square right now when he has a preview of what to expect later today.
In New York's Times Square, the balloons inflated, confetti ready to fly.
All right, trending this morning, an experiment with a holiday present went wrong for one Texas family.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, take a look at this. Nissa Lynn Parson says her 12-year-old son was really excited by the magnifying glass he got as a gift.
Oh, no.
And he wanted to try it out right away. So he set the yard on fire. Of course, that was an accident. But according to his mom, he went outside with his brothers to use the sun to burn holes in newspapers, but the wind blew embers onto the lawn, which caught fire. And the Christmas lights were starting to melt as well. The family jumped to work, and they were able to put that fire out without involving authorities. Mom says instead of a tragedy, the family has a Christmas story to remember.
And a Christmas lesson for everyone out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole yard caught this charred.
That is crazy.
I know Dad's upset. He worked so hard on that grass.
Right, all year long.
They're going to have that reminder
Torched it.
for a few good months, too, every time they come home.
I remember doing that as a kid, not lighting a lawn on fire, but I remember lighting some newspaper. With a magnifying
We
glass.
could tell that you knew right away that that was going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that
Big
magnifying
time.
glass.
Crazy, crazy.
Well, strong winds ripped through Turkey's largest city yesterday, uprooting trees that nearly crushed 3 people. Take a look at the CCTV footage now as you just saw the men walking down this Istanbul street. Well, seconds later, a tree topples over, seemingly hitting the men. Authorities say at least 2 vehicles were severely damaged in the incident. Fire brigades removed the uprooted tree following the incident. Fortunately, And surprisingly, there have been no reports of fatalities or even injuries. I don't know if you saw in the video, but one part of that tree was really sharp. It came down there like almost
Crazy.
ready to get someone.
That red car looked like it saved those two guys' lives.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast those freak accidents can happen, and sometimes they can be fatal, if not, hurt at all.
Remember when the tree fell here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right on Bull Street.
Looked very similar, actually.
Yeah, that happened really fast, too.
Glad they got out of the way in time.
All right, let's turn to the forecast now this New Year's Eve, Kevin. As we welcome in 2020, you might want to welcome in a coat, too.
Yeah, you're definitely, you probably put your coat away the last couple of days. It's been super mild. I mean, we're talking temperatures that were in the 70s, sunshine. Well, that's going to be a little bit different